What's going on? I hope you're having a very blessed day today. I'm your host, Zach Shoemaker. Today is the second episode of the AIA series. And trust me, you're not going to miss it as Ty Washington kicks it off. And we all know he's obviously one of the top players in the country. But following that, you get to hear from his teammate Cesar Chavez and Ricardo Sarmiento. And to wrap up the entire episode, you get to hear from Mountain Pointe star guard Jason KImbrough. But I promise you, there's so many other great Arizona players that you're not going to miss hearing from throughout the course of this AIA series. Stay tuned. You can do that by following me at Zach Shoemaker on both Twitter and Instagram. I promise you're not going to miss a single one of these episodes. But with that being said, I think we should hop right on in. So, let's get started. I'm blessed to be able to welcome on the number 73 overall ranked player in the class of 2021. The 4-star guard currently ranks at number 5 in the state of Arizona and is ranked the number 14 point guard across the country. He received offers from the likes of Oklahoma, Maryland, ASU, TCU, Washington State, Grand Canyon, and many, many more. And after being named AZ Underclassman Player of the Year and having his name on the All-First team for underclassmen last year, he looks to now be an upperclassman and lead Cesar Chavez to a state championship, while also being a favorite to potentially win Gatorade Player of the Year in the state of Arizona. He also put on a show with Vegas Elite this summer, and with that being said, I couldn't be more excited than to welcome on Ty Washington. What's going on today, bro?
Hey, what's up, bro? Glad to finally have the time to get on one of these episodes with you, man.
No doubt, bro. But now you've recently gotten back from Maryland, your very first official visit. Talk about it. What was it like? What did you take away from it?
The visit was pretty cool because it was like my first official, so I really didn't know what to expect. But when I got out there, everything was pretty fun. When I got out there, I was kind of nervous, but my host, which was Aaron Wiggins, a sophomore there, he made me feel comfortable and feel like as if I was one of the players there.
No doubt, man. And now obviously you have really blown up in the course of the past couple months. Offers have really come in consistently now for you. And obviously I know you've talked about potentially going out of Nevada with John. You've talked about Oklahoma visits. You have a lot of other schools that really probably have caught your eye, but really which ones in particular have caught your eye and for what reasons?
They all stand out, but I just Santa Clara stands out to me a lot just off of the academic standpoint. Because Coach Sendek told me basically the ball is gonna eventually stop bouncing. So what are you gonna do after that? You could be in the same classroom as someone's gonna start the next big video game. So at that school, you never know who you're sitting next to.
That's obviously a huge thing because I know obviously with you, obviously the end goal is the NBA, and that's the thing that you obviously have a legitimate chance of making. But even at those levels, there is a point in your life that obviously the ball does stop bouncing. And for you, there are many other fields that you could potentially go into, and just focusing on that is a huge thing. So it kind of leads us to the next question then. Really, where do you see or where do you really want to do when it comes time when the ball stops bouncing? What do you really want to pursue, and what do you want to go to college for?
When I go to college, I want to study. I want to be an eye doctor or someone that's going to be in the medical field. As far as sports medicine, I want to still be close to the game, still help people have a better body and understand their body's worth and all that.
That's awesome, man. That's obviously something that obviously is highly pursued in terms of the athletes always wanted to do that something. That obviously shows that there's another level in terms of just playing basketball for you. And obviously that's just a huge thing, man. But another thing obviously I think we can see is that you obviously transformed your body though at the same time. You obviously went from a player that everyone knew was more than talented, was one of the top, if not the top player in the state of Arizona in his class of 2021. But there always was a couple concerns, questions about your body. And that's obviously all those talks have really been just dismantled. You obviously have proven all that wrong. You changed your body. Talk about what that process was like and really where you've seen your game grow the most since then.
Yeah, for sure. So my freshman year, I had an injury on the top of my foot where I had 3 fractures. So I was out from when we had conditioning and all that for our high school team. So I kind of got a little fat, and I came back a little rusty and slow. So ever since then, I just been really taking care of my body, really doing the little things as far as stretching before, when I first wake up, before games, after games, just everything to make sure my body will stay good. And same thing my sophomore year. My sophomore year, I had little injuries, bumps and bruises with my knees. But now for my junior year, before the season and all that, I started working out every day after school with Coach Brown and going to see the trainer to make sure I could really have a good junior year.
No doubt, and obviously I don't think anyone else took more notice of obviously your change and how much of different level you took the game to than the college coaches. I mean, you went into the AAU circuit in season, having a couple of offers, nothing too big though, but you obviously decided to go play with Vegas Elite. Talk about what that was like. Talk about your teammates, really why you decided to go play there. And just talk about that real quick, and obviously how that translated into you kind of blowing up and becoming the player you are now.
Yeah, like you said, I had a few early offers before I played with Vegas, but then once I got on that circuit, the Nike circuit, the EYBL with Vegas Elite, my recruitment started to blow up a little bit just because like we had a few actually top few players in Richard Isaacs or Milos, Usain, and Max Allen. When I came to the team, it was just like they all took me in, and the way I started playing with Vegas is I played with them like back in the sixth grade with me and one of my really close friends, Zayon Collins. And after we found out I wasn't playing with Hardy no more, the coach gave my dad a call and we just really sat down and talked about it.
No doubt. Obviously, from our perspective, we can see that your game obviously went to a whole other level. But as for you, how did you feel and see your game progress from the start of the EYBL season to the end of it in the Peace Jam?
Going in, like I didn't really know what to expect because everybody was saying like it was different. Like it's different than all the circuits. There's no like really garbage teams. So the start it was actually pretty good, and then we didn't go to the second session, and then the third session, that's when the third session was in Dallas, and he went to USA for him, and we just had a few players who had injuries, so we came up short in the little championship, and then the biggest, but we still qualified for Peace Jam, which like is the ultimate goal for the Nike EYBL circuit. And so when we got out there in South Carolina at Peace Jam, we had our full squad back. We all had the ability to showcase our talents in front of everybody out there. And we eventually lost in the Final Four off of a putback to a talented Team Griffin team who happened to win Peace Jam.
Absolutely. And that's something that obviously more than prepares you, I believe, for obviously just as a player developing you to a whole other level, but obviously now coming back into Arizona now, and you were able to come take that to a whole other level. And prior to that, though, and prior to the Peace Gym and all, you did play in the Section 7 event in Arizona. Talk about that. What kind of impact did that have on you? I mean, obviously it brought some offers in, brought a lot more interest on you. Talk about the impact Section 7 kind of had on you.
Oh yeah, for sure. The Section 7, it was a different event. I mean, it was his first year, and I think it was pretty well ran. Basically, a little tournament to showcase your talents with your high school team. It kind of get away from your AAU squad to see what type of player you was without your AAU squad and see what you were with your high school squad. My high school Cesar Chavez coming into the tournament, we really didn't know what to expect because like we're really small this year, but we have a bunch of guys who like to compete. So we came in and turned a few faces. People really didn't think we were gonna do what we did. We ended up losing in the semifinals to a talented Riverside Poly who has a San Diego State commit, Lamont Butler. We lost to this team by 2, but that was really like opened up my eyes to see what we could do against other top teams on the West Coast.
Absolutely. I mean, obviously, it's established really a representation of that you guys are going to be an elite team and a problem in Arizona this upcoming season. And that you guys established that so much to the point where now, obviously, during the live period, you guys had many, many coaches come out to see not just you, but to see and get interest for a lot of other players in your roster as you obviously landed a whole bunch of big-time offers. But so many other guys like True also were able to receive their first offers and start getting the first bit of interest.
Before, we really didn't have like a lot of coaches come check us out at practice. So it was like once we started seeing a bunch of coaches come, like to see a bunch of kids who hasn't been on the radar because like maybe they don't play AAU or nothing. So it was just basically a blessing for our team to really showcase our talents again in front of all the coaches at our practice.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. I mean, obviously, you were like the main attraction getting guys, but that was able to bring a lot of other people. Obviously, Ricardo got some looks. Obviously, True got his first offer. I mean, getting a lot of guys like that and people getting to be able to recognize what the talent is there is obviously a huge thing as well.
Like you said, they all got their early looks, and our Robinson twins on the team, like so after one of our practices, our coach was there, and then like we got in the locker room, and our coach just told us it was like some of these coaches, even though you're not getting looked at by them, they know other coaches at lower schools that could be interested. And after that, our forward, Nigeria Andrews, picked up a few offers from the Midwest. Our Robinson twins are getting interest all over from a bunch of high-level Jicos and low D2s. Same with Ravion Hodge. It's really just a blessing for all of us.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. And so now leading into the season, obviously you look at Duran. I mean, there's a couple other guys, but I mean, you and Duran really are the two lead guys, obviously being nationally ranked and really nationally regarded players. I mean, obviously there's no more Jovan and Jalin out at Shadow Mountain. There's not Nico anymore. I mean, you guys are kind of filling into those shoes. So what's really that expectation, and really what's it like knowing that you are regarded as kind of like the face of Arizona now?
I mean, I say my expectations for this year would just be to just be a leader for my school and my teammates, because I know all my teammates, they look up to me with me being the best player. They're gonna do whatever I do. So if I'm slacking, then they're gonna slack. So I just really just want to stay on top of everybody, make sure everybody's pushing themselves to be the best person they could be.
Without a doubt, being a leader won't just translate just to your team. I think now you're going to step into a new stage of your career. I think obviously basketball has changed drastically over the past few years in Arizona. I think Marvin Bagley started it. You have guys like Mitch Lightfoot, the Howard brothers. The list can go on. But for you now, there's a lot of question. Who would step up and become the new faces of Arizona basketball this upcoming season? And that's was the question hanging this summer. Obviously, there's no more Nico, Jalen, and Jovan. They all are in college now. So who's going to step up? And now, heading into the season, I think it's two guys that really have separated themselves as being the faces of Arizona AIA basketball, and that's you and Duran. And so have you maybe talked to some of those guys, and have they maybe reached out to you and talked about how and really how to handle being one of the faces of not just your team and leading them, but as a state as a whole?
Yeah, so for sure. So, I mean, Javon, Jalen, and Nico, they just tell me never get too big headed about being the best in Arizona. Still work hard. Still work hard no matter what, because you never know who's gonna watch or who else is working just as hard or harder than you. So, and they just tell me never take a play off. Like everything you gotta do, everything you do, make sure you do it hard, so it will eventually benefit you. As you can see, Javon's at GCU right now. Jalen's at ASU and Nico's at U of A.
Absolutely. And now looking at AIA as a whole, who else do you think are maybe some guys that's going to really step up this year and really help lead the teams, and not just this year, but in terms of for the future?
I say Desert Vista for sure. So Osu's gonna be the main leader because he's gonna be a senior, and the rest is just a bunch of underclassmen who will listen to him. Same, yeah, I say Mountain Point as well because Mountain Point they're gonna be really well coached with Coach Kaimarr over there. He's
Mm-hmm.
gonna make sure everybody stays focused no matter what. Same with same with Chandler. Their coach is gonna make sure all their players is working hard. And Skyline for sure. Skyline is gonna be a pretty well-rounded team with Dayton Harris as their leader, and the coach pretty much has all his trust into him. And I say that's about it.
Mm-hmm. No doubt. I mean, like you said, I think there's a lot of talent. I mean, I think a lot of people obviously know what Isaiah Brody, Carson can do. They know Dayton, but I think one guy on Mountain Point, especially that I really think is going to take the next step will be Jason. Obviously, he doesn't have much college interest yet, but I think by the end of the season, he really will blow up. I think he has all the possibility to become an elite player in the state, especially by being coached by Coach Kaimarr.
For sure, Jason. I'm pretty sure he's gonna have a pretty good junior year. I mean, with him playing with Khalid Price last year, who was a phenomenal leader. Him getting some varsity minutes, crucial varsity minutes last year, I think he's gonna really come back and have be like somewhat a veteran on varsity, who's gonna be able to lead all his young kids on his team to a good playoff run just off of his experience with Khalid. So I'm pretty sure he took a few tips from him and is gonna just try to use that to motivate his players.
Without a doubt. And then also kind of looking at the 2021 class as a whole. I mean, not even really considering prep. I mean, obviously they have a ton of talent in that way too. I mean, you look at you, Isaiah, Duran, Carson. I mean, the list goes on and on for the 2021 guys. I mean, talk about what it's like and how much talent really is in the 2021 class.
Yeah, our 2021 class out here is pretty loaded. I mean, and like the funny thing is, like everybody in 2021, like there's no hate at all. Like we're all close with each other. We all hang out. So it's just like whenever we can, we all get in the gym and compete against each other. Talk trash talk a little bit. Go out to eat and all that fun stuff. So it's just like everybody in 2021, we all just bond together.
Without a doubt. I think one great example of that obviously was in Justin Vargas' event, obviously playing the show versus Compass game. Kind of talk about that. Obviously, a lot of the highlights were featured on you and Duran. Obviously, you went off in the second half and Kind of what that game was like.
Yeah, his event was pretty good. I mean, I didn't some of the 2021 kids that were on our team, I didn't really know like that. Like Duke Bennett, who goes to Perry, I really didn't know him, but then like just spending the whole day with him, learning what type of person he is, type of basketball player he is. It was just like after that, it was just like was an eye opener of like everybody in 2021. So it was like it was a great event just for all of us juniors to go ahead and play against a talented prep school out of Arizona, Arizona Compass Prep, and to showcase what we could do as far as the 2021 perspective and show them just not our 2020 class in Arizona is pretty good, but our 2021 is good as well.
Without a doubt. And I think that really is one thing too that a lot of people do look at is obviously the prep rep. That is something that really has brought a lot of controversy, especially in Arizona. I mean, obviously that's a great method I think for a lot of people going that way. I mean, there's no wrong with that, but also I think you and a few other guys obviously have defined that you can still become an elite player and nationally regarded while staying in AIA. But have you possibly ever given any consideration to going to prep school either this year or possibly in the future?
Yeah, without a doubt, I have. I mean, I I've considered about going prep a little bit this year. Um, I've been thinking about it, but I just think it's just best for me to stay. I think it's just best for me to stay with Cesar Chavez this year. I mean, everybody on our team was just like a brotherhood. So we built a great brotherhood. So I wouldn't want to just ruin it by just me leaving out of nowhere just to play prep when in Arizona AIA is still pretty good. Still has good competition all over.
hmm I think that is one thing, like I said, it was a controversy kind of event. I think, I mean, obviously, it's prep elite. Is that a great method? Can you really blow up in that way? Most definitely. But I think when people say that AIA is kind of done, it's ruined, I think that's really just not, it's not true or accurate because there is so much talent still. And I think, obviously, is it maybe harder in some ways to get a lot of offers? Sure. But I think, obviously, guys like you, like Duran and all, have really shown that you can still blow up and become elite national prospects. And you can still get Division One athletes because I believe if you are talented, that colleges will still find you.
Yeah, without a doubt. Like you said, if you're good, coaches are gonna find you. So it's like no matter where you play, you're still gonna have to go out and produce. Whether you play at a low AIA high school, or high AIA high school, or if you go prep, you're still gonna have to go out there night in night out and show everybody what you could do.
No doubt. And then as a whole, though, in terms of your class, in state, out of state, whatever it is there anyone that you really have created a great connection with that maybe you've talked about potentially teaming up with at a high school level, at an AAU level, or possibly even at the college level?
Um, me so not in well in my class, me, Carson, and Duran, we talked about us three teaming up this year for AAU coming up. Um, Me and Dalen, we talked about teaming up before he heads off at Hillcrest, and a few guys from out of state. We talked about teaming up for our last run at AAU this year, especially with my friend Zayon Collins who plays with Vegas. We just talked us two. We known each other for a while, so we always talk about us teaming up one last time before we both head off to college and stuff.
hmm Absolutely. And then before I let you go, I would like to ask with a couple different questions. And the first one being, who would you say in your life has been your biggest role model?
Person in my life that's been the biggest role model, probably my mom and my dad, without a doubt.
hmm No doubt. I mean, obviously, God always puts family and someone, at least someone in your life that is able to help just support you and kind of keep you on the path that God has in store for you so that you can reach that goal. And that's obviously a huge thing.
Yes, sir, without a doubt. I mean, before my grandpa passed away, he was also another big role model of mine. Like, he always made sure that all his grandkids kept their heads on straight in the classrooms and at whatever we wanted to be in life. He said he just basically told us whatever we wanted to be in life would never come easy. It always be a bunch of obstacles. Just be prepared and take it on. Don't try to avoid it.
That's awesome. And then the final question I was like wrapping up with is obviously me being a man of faith. Just kind of talk about how did you say God's kind of helped get you to the point you're at today?
God, he helps me. He helped me a lot to be the person I am right now. I mean, whenever like I know for a fact he's always up there. He's always gonna have what's right for me no matter what. So if I ever have anything to question, I'll take it up with him, and I know he'd put me in the best situation for sure.
No doubt. And God, I truly do believe this, that God truly has a special path for every single person out there. No matter what, He has a special path that's designed just for you. And I think that you just have to be patient because it's on God's timing. It's in His control, and we just have to wait and keep doing what He wants us to do. And at some point, we will reap the benefits. And I think you're a perfect example of that. I think that you obviously have been overlooked your entire career so far. And all of a sudden, the summer came in, you started getting the rankings to go up. You got the offers. In my opinion, I think obviously you're nowhere close to being done. You're just getting started. And obviously, you have a bright future ahead of you, and God's got a huge thing in store. But I mean, just seeing what you've done so far is something that you can see that you're on the right path, and just keep following that because God does have something in big time in store for you, and it's going to be huge.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
No problem, bro. I definitely appreciate you taking time to come on today. Best of luck with this upcoming season. I'm excited to see what you and Cesar Chavez does this year.
Yes, sir. Thank you. Thank you.
No problem, bro. God bless.
Yep, you too.
You just got to hear from his teammate, and now you get to hear a little bit more of what's about to go down at Cesar Chavez this upcoming season. They've been one of the most talked about players ever since his days in middle school in the class of 2021 in Arizona. And you get to hear where he'll be playing his final year of AAU basketball at. You're not going to miss that. As Ricardo Sarmiento's interview comes up right after this, and you're not going to miss it. But also, go check out Blessing and Ball. Shout out to them for the free gear. Definitely go check them out on Instagram. Go give them a follow. Go get some of their stuff. They're big time. But with that being said, let's hop right on in. I'm excited to welcome on one of the most talked about players in Arizona in the class of 2021 ever since middle school. He's now getting ready to help lead Cesar Chavez possibly win a state championship this upcoming season. But throughout his underclassmen years, he came away with awards like being on AZ 6A honorable mention and was on first team All Arizona underclassmen. He's going to be one of the main players on Powerhouse's 17U squad next year. And that man is Ricardo Sarmiento. What's going on today, bro?
Man, what's going on? How you doing?
Pretty good. So let's jump right in, man. Obviously, it's getting closer and closer by the day to the tip-off of the regular season. Really, where's your feelings for it? What's your excitement for it?
My feelings, I'm just excited. One of the contenders this year. So I'm really excited because got a couple weeks, first game, first tournament. So you got to just lay it all out there.
No doubt. I mean, obviously, you guys are heading in, like you said, as one of the contenders. Obviously, you guys are among one of the pretty much just a two-team race in a lot of people's minds. Some teams also say Skyline, obviously. I mean, Desert Vista and you guys. I mean, talk about the matchups out there. Talk about really who you guys are expecting to kind of match up with in terms of possibly going for state.
Well, like you said, people think it's a two-man race, but I think 6A is wide open as far as who can really contend for a title. I think Chavez is the ultimate favorite, but I'm not gonna talk too much. I'm gonna let our play do the talking. But yeah, so matching up well, I think Skyline matches up well. They got a good solid team. DV is very deep as well. So those two teams will give us a run for our money, I feel like.
Without a doubt. I mean, obviously, I think you guys have the best duo in terms of guards up front, and you and Ty really. I mean, two guys that are two of the top guards in the state playing together. Obviously, it's an elite level, and with DV, obviously, they have two of the best big men playing together in the state. I mean, it really, I think, will come down to which other guys can really perform on their team and step up, because we know what the stars can obviously do, and just seeing how the other guys that really help contribute and help lead the team as well, guys on DV, obviously, like Andrew, Malik, Marcus, obviously guys and you guys like the twins, True, and whatnot will be huge.
Yeah, for sure. I know I know what we're gonna bring to the table as far as our starting five and our bench. I feel like we're deeper than them. I feel like as a team we play well together as a collective group. As you said, we got Ty, one of the top guards, and he's the number one guard in Arizona. We got Ravion Hodge, off the bench. Just an animal, 6'4", long, 3-and-D type guy, and whatnot. We got Greg. And we got Nigeria Andrew. So I feel like as a team, as a unit, 1 through 12, we're the best in the state. No questions. 1A through 6A, best in the state.
I think one thing too, like you said earlier, too, it is a little wide open. I mean, you look at it, there's a lot of young teams in the state of Arizona right now. I mean, there's not a lot of senior dominant teams in terms of the contenders, at least. I mean, there's not really any more Nico-led teams in terms of Pinnacle. There's not Jovan, Jalen, and whatnot at Shadow Mountain with a lot of just senior and kind of older depth. It's a lot of guys you see dominating with young guys and juniors. You see Chandler, obviously, with Brody and Carson. I mean, you guys, obviously. I mean, you look at Duran and Justice out in Millennium. I mean, there's a lot of teams that are really dominated by the junior class and under.
Yeah, you could say that. I agree with that statement, and I didn't even mention Chandler, be a sleeper team as well that can, surprise a lot of people with Brody and Carson. But yeah, I
Mm-hmm.
feel like, underclassmen are, starting to come into their own quicker and earlier than I've seen in previous years. Like you said, Nico and Trent Brown, Spencer Rattler, and then you got Shadow Mountain and Jalen and Jovan. And also, a few years ago, we had a Basha who won the state title a few years ago. They were all seniors, So I feel like I can agree with that. Yeah, I feel like nowadays you got a lot of younger guys stepping up, and really coming into their own and helping their teams.
No doubt. So who else in the state would you say are some of the sleepers?
As far as sleeper teams go, I think you got, South is a really good team. Like you said, Chandler, Corona will be good. Mountain Pointe for sure. A lot of people have written them off, but I think they'll have a great year. They got KP as their coach. You can never count them out. They're led by Jason KImbrough and their big man Z. So I feel like Corona, Mountain Pointe, and Chandler, really coming to their own this year.
Mm-hmm. 100% agree. I think you said right there, one of the biggest sleepers, I think, is Mountain Pointe. I think a lot of people obviously kind of writing them off. Obviously, there's no Jaelen anymore. There's no more Lid. I mean, there's a lot of guys that are going to have to step up, and guys that really were role players last year are now taking leadership roles. And I think, like you said, that having a coach like Coach KP that can come in, obviously, we know what he can do. He's going to help them run. I mean, a lot of people inside the state know that Jason can play at a high level. It doesn't matter, obviously, him doing it and kind of showing the rest of the world what he can do.
Yeah, for sure. They got, and especially at their point guard right now, they got, TJ Tigler, who's a very good on-ball defender, probably has one of the best floaters in the state. So him and Kimbrough side by side will be a good little matchup.
Mm-hmm. No doubt. And so in terms of players, I mean, obviously there's a lot of underrated players, I believe, in Arizona. And I think obviously you are one of the guys that lead the pack with that. I mean, obviously you haven't pulled in a lot of Division One offers yet, but I think your time's obviously coming. But who else would you say in the state? Also, some other guys that are really under the radar that will kind of start blowing up within the next year or two.
Mm, Underrated. I think of myself as underrated, really underrated. You just mentioned that. But as far as underrated goes, I think a lot of kids on my team, Cesar Chavez, when you talk about Chavez, you think of Tata and Ricardo, or sometimes even just Tata. But I feel like we got a few guys that are under the radar, like the Robinson twins, very very good on ball defenders, shoot the three ball really well. And like in 2021, Ravion Hodge, long, plays defense and whatnot. Nigeria Andrews is in the 2020 class, who locks up and just does everything defensively. I feel like, I don't tend, like, I'm in, season mode right now, so I'm not thinking about other teams. I think they're just really underrated.
Absolutely. And so now looking at the state as a whole, I mean, obviously there are teams that are not in 6A like Millennium, and there's some teams like that. But out of a whole, who else do you think will be some guys that are really going to step up, and some teams you really think will be taking kind of national attention maybe from other conferences as well?
Oh, I think, as far as other conferences go, like you said, Millennium, you think top tier team in Arizona. I think Sunny Slope will have a great year. I think Ironwood would have a really good year. They'll be fine battling it out. And as far, I said 6A is wide open. I think 4A is completely wide open now that the dominance of Shadow Mountain's gone. I think they'll still be in the mix. So they have Shamar Morrow and so I feel like 4A will be really wide open with Peoria. You got Deer Valley still. You got Shadow Mountain. So 4A is wide open as well.
Yeah, I want to touch upon that too right there. I mean, I think like you said, I mean, we've known that Shadow's been not just dominating 4A, but they've really dominated the entire state of Arizona for the past
Yeah.
4 years really during this run with obviously Jovan, Jalen, and all those guys. But I mean, like you said, they just still have Devon Cobb, they have Elijah and Shamar. I mean, you look at South Point with Evan Nelson. I mean, Tay. I mean, you got a whole lot of great talent there, and then 5A as well. I mean, like you said, obviously people know what Millennium is. They're also one of the top rated teams, not just in the state but nationally as well. And but you look at Sunny Slope, I think there are guys with having Carson, having guys like him and Elijah Saunders and Oak and a lot of those guys, that's really going to step up and it's going to be a really fun team to watch as well.
Yeah, for sure. And I didn't even mention South Point. That's how I think 4A is just completely wide open. You got South Point. You even got St. Mary's is in the mix too with those young guys, like you said, young driven teams. Kieran Brown, very underrated in my opinion as well.
Mm-hmm. No doubt. I think one part you might see because maybe why there's not as many players in the upperclassmen is a lot of guys do start looking at possibly going the prep route. And that's something, I mean, has that occurred to you to maybe look into going into attend a prep school maybe this year or maybe next year?
No, I haven't really thought about that. Right now I'm just focused on, AIA basketball on my team. I haven't really been thinking about the future. I don't, dwell on the past or focus on the future. I'm worried about what's going to happen right now. So, no, it hasn't crossed my mind about going to a prep school.
No doubt. I mean, I think that is something that a lot of people do really seem to focus in on. There are really two different ways. They're either saying that prep is really the only way, and some people say that maybe prep is a really bad way to go. But I think whatever fits best for the person is obviously great. But for those that obviously say that really prep is the only way, I think you guys came out together. The show team really came out and put on a great show against Compass. I mean, obviously you guys upset them. You guys went and had a great game and came together as a team, and the 2021 class really put on a show. So kind of talk about that event, about Justin Vargas and what that team really was like playing with.
Yeah, that was a really great event. I love Justin. That's my man. He puts on for the city. He's all about Arizona basketball. And as far as the event went, it was a well-organized event. We had the dunk contest, the three-point contest. They fed us. That was always good. The food was really good. But yeah, we had we didn't really have that much practice time together. We had like an hour before the event actually started. So, but the Arizona class of 2020 is very close. We're all friends. We all know each other. We all hang out and whatnot. At tournaments and stuff. So I think we came together and gelled really well. Titan and Duran took over in the second half and really propelled us to a win.
That's something. I mean, just obviously another shout out to Vargas. I mean, obviously he is one of the guys that truly care about really everything in Arizona. He obviously has put together many great events over the past few months that's really brought a lot of talent in and really just brought talent from prep wise, from in-state wise, high school wise. I mean, there's been so much talent he's been able to put together and truly put on a great show for Arizona.
Yeah, Vargas is my dude, real Arizona junkie. He cares about us, always tries to put us on these top tier events that college coaches come look at us. We can get media attention. So, he tries to give us a way to open doors, open doors to bigger opportunities.
Without a doubt. I mean, you also touched up a little bit talking about like the chemistry, obviously with the 2021 group, but just as in Arizona as a whole, I think there was a really close family bond. It's not as big as maybe per se like California. I mean, there's such a big spread out state. I mean, it's really a tight knit community in Arizona basketball. And I think one of those examples was a couple weekends ago. Obviously, there was that Avondale tournament. There's a lot of the guys, Dalen, Osa, Ty, I mean, Jalin Anderson. There's a lot of great guys in Arizona basketball, and all you guys kind of teamed up and played against each other. Talk about what that was like.
Well, I've been playing club ball at Tata since I was about, fifth grade. But the reason we had got together was because me and Tata's eighth grade year, and also Jaelen and Dalen's ninth grade year, we played Power 15U. We were the number one 15 team in the state, and we had our coach Mike Smitty, and so that was just like a reunion tour. Our last time to play together and whatnot. So it was good vibes. We had fun, and we played against our younger team, who was Power 14U at the time. So it was all in good fun, just it felt good to get back together with the guys.
That's something that's so special to establish. I think basketball really is like the best job. You see that. I mean, obviously basketball relationships really grow, and you see that at all levels of basketball. But I mean, just being able to know each other, that all you guys will most likely end up going on to D1. A lot of them have already commit, being Osa, Dalen, and Jaelen, and all. But I mean, just seeing each other at the next level, college level, and probably possibly playing at the professional level from there on out would just be a great thing to see.
Yeah, for sure. You grow up with those guys. You want to see them succeed, get it out the mud, like Justin says. That's just a great thing. You always want to root for your guys, root for your Arizona guys. Like, even when I was younger and I was playing with the California team, me and my dad always made it a point to go watch the Arizona teams playing out of town. You always got to go show your support and love.
Without a doubt. And then obviously one thing too, like you said, AAU teams. I mean, you were able to go play with a lot of great teams as well there. Talk about some of the teams you've been able to play with in AAU and just throughout your career, kind of.
When I was younger, I had my Arizona team. We were called. We started off as the Arizona Renegades. Just a little team, club team. And then as I got a little older, fourth grade, my dad and my mom started this team called Phoenix Flight. With my friends. And then I got a little older, and I met Ty, very good, and then that opened some doors for me as well to go play with this team called West Coast All Stars. They have players like Will McClendon, Paris Dawson, Jason Harris, and Ty. So we put a team together called Arizona 2020. Went out to Oakland. The team was me, Bret Hart Jr., Ty Washington, Hunter Ruck, Xavier Dussel, and I think that was about it. 6 players, and we went out and played against West Coast. It was number 1 team on the West Coast at that time during 6th grade. And then we just showed out, and then they asked me and Tata to go play for them. And then from there on, we played West Coast until about 8th grade. We're the number 1 team in the country. And my freshman year, I played with Powerhouse, and I played for Firestorm. Well, I was and Team Harden. Can't forget about Team Harden. Love my dude C poking them. So it's just been a journey, from baby ball until my high school years.
No doubt. I think when you get that chance to kind of look back at the path God's kind of really brought you through, is obviously a great thing to see, because there's so many different people you meet in different trials, but so many great moments that you just always help get you to the point you're at today.
Yeah, for surely, man. You can't let these memories go. You got to learn from the losses and learn from the wins as well.
And then now, preparing for your final year at AAU next year, really have you kind of thought out that where you think you're going to be playing for?
Yes. Right now, I'm committed to Powerhouse Hoops. They got a great track record of putting kids into college and actually caring about their kids. So I'm going to Powerhouse next year.
That's awesome. So do you know some of the guys that can be really on the team that can be able to play alongside?
They got Deron Holmes, Justice Jackson, John Solomon, and they got Bret Hart Jr., Jalen Scott, Karan Oliver. And with the younger guys, they got True Washington, Mark Brown. So I know a lot of guys in the program already who I'm really close with.
That's awesome. And before I let you go, I was wrapping up with a couple different questions. The first one being, who'd you say in your life has been your biggest role model?
My biggest role model would have to be my parents. Growing up, they always did a lot for me, making sure I got to practice, giving, as far as basketball goes, they played a huge role in my life. Just always being there, telling me right from wrong, and always giving me great advice.
That's awesome. I mean, God always just puts different people in your life that can help kind of keep you down your path. And obviously, when you keep reaching that path at each level, it's just something that's a great moment to see.
Yes, for surely, man. That's just God. It just works in mysterious ways, and I'm a believer in what you put into is what you're gonna get out, and that's what God's taught me. That's what my parents have taught me.
100% agree, man. And my final question leads up and kind of finishes that off. I mean, how would you say God has helped get you to the point you're at today?
God has helped me tremendously. I've been, I'm not gonna lie and say I go to church every Sunday, but I go once in a while, and I think God's helped me lead me down the path I am going. He opens doors, closes them, He gives me opportunities, and He takes them, and I just try and learn from all those things.
I mean, He always has a path in store for us, and obviously He's helped get you to the point you're at today. I mean, obviously having a great start to your high school career so far. Now you have your upperclassmen years, and I mean, you just never know. I mean, obviously you will probably be playing at college level. I mean, you could be playing professional past that. I mean, but whatever it is, you know that God's got a special path, rather it be on the court, off the court, whatever it is, and just keep following that path, as you know it's gonna be something special.
Yeah, for sure. I totally agree with that. I think everyone has a different path. Just because you don't go D1 right out of high school don't mean your basketball career is over. There's plenty of guys that go JUCO and then, go D1 their final 2 years and then they make something of themselves. And it's not D1 or bust. There's multiple paths you can go on. And as far as playing professional, it's not just the NBA. There's tons of leagues out there you can play. You can go play overseas, play in the Euro League and all that type of stuff.
That's a key point right there. I think you said. I think the first part is we're talking about college. I think there's so many alternate routes now because of social media and being college coaches being able to scout so much more. I think JUCOs are obviously a great route you can take. Obviously, people are doing prep years now. Obviously, you can go overseas. You can go to the G League now. I mean, there's so many different methods you can take now that can potentially propel you to get into that league. And like you said, that league might not be the NBA for some, or maybe it could still be it, but there's still the G League. There's still China. I mean, Europe, Australia has a league now. I mean, there's so many opportunities to play, and you make great money in any really league you really go a part of. And it's just a great thing.
Yeah, that's the goal, man. Just, take the opportunities you're given. Don't set yourself up for one goal because you might not accomplish them. You got to keep your doors open and don't burn bridges with people because, you might need them one day.
100% agree, man. I appreciate you taking time to come on today. Obviously, best luck this upcoming season. I'm excited to see what you guys are able to do at Cesar Chavez this year.
Thank you, man. Thanks for having me. God bless.
No problem, bro. God bless. Hold up, I wouldn't be going anywhere. You're just going to hear from two of Cesar Chavez's top players that's going to help him lead a state. But there's still another contender in Arizona, and another one of those teams is Mountain Pointe, and they're going to be led by Jason KImbrough. And you're not going to miss hearing what he has to say. So stay tuned. You're not going to miss hearing from one of the most underrated guards in the state of Arizona. His interview comes up right after this, so stay tuned. It's great to be able to welcome on one of the most underrated players, not just in the state of Arizona, but the entire country in 2021. As an underclassman, he walks away by being named to the second team All-Underclassman in the state of Arizona. As he propels himself and gets ready for his upperclassman years, he played Firestorm in the Adidas Gauntlet and now turns to get ready to lead Mountain Pointe this upcoming season for a potential state run. With that being said, I couldn't be more excited than to welcome on Jason KImbrough. What's happening, my guy?
Nothing much, man. Nothing much. I'm good.
That's good. So, obviously you're getting ready for a big-time season. Obviously heading in with Mountain Pointe, a new coaching staff. Talk about what that's like. What are you guys' expectations?
With the new coaching staff, it's not much different than what I would say it would be last year. As Coach KP, him being Khalid's uncle, was always near the program. So it's almost like nothing's going to change. We're still going to be playing hard, offense, defense, and we're going to be that same team we were last year, just more hungry. We want more this year. And the expectations, they'll definitely be higher this year as this group, we're kind of like closer and friends, more of a family, and we all want it this year, like especially with these last 2 years. For me being a junior, I really want these seniors to get it, and I want to get it for these next 2 years.
No doubt. Kind of talk about your bond. Obviously, being the point guard of the team, obviously you always have a great connection with the coach. Kind of talk about what your relationship has been like with Coach KP.
It's really close. We text all the time. He's always talking to me, making sure I'm one of the bigger leaders on the team, getting guys ready, everything. And he kind of keeps me like in place. He's always able to talk to me in games, keep me going. Like if I'm not hitting shots, he's there for me. Get a stop on defense, get it back, shoot it again. Like he's always on my neck, and it keeps me ready to go.
No doubt. I think one thing I always stands about Mountain Pointe is that very rarely do they ever go in, obviously, at the start of the season with a whole bunch of loaded talent. They don't have the Nikos. They don't have Jaelen, Jovan kind of guys. But like last year, look at it. Obviously, Lid and obviously Jalin came out of nowhere and just kind of blew up and went off to a national stage in a way. And you guys are always a team that works out and always pushes the ball and it finds a way to always come out and win games.
I feel like, us not having that that like signature player, it kind of is like better in a way because we all know what talent we have as a team and as individuals, and that lets us play better. It's not like he needs to have the ball. No, he can have it this play. He can get it this play. He can get it this play. And it keeps the rotation of players in the game faster. We're always fresh. We're always ready to go. And anybody can kill you at any point in the game.
No doubt. So kind of talk about those other guys on the team. Obviously, there are a lot of other guys. There's a lot of new guys, obviously, throwing into the varsity role. But talk about what the team kind of looks like. Who's the other guys going to kind of help lead the team alongside you?
We got next to me in them guard positions. It's going to be TJ Tigler, and David Salaya. And in my opinion, those are the two best defenders in the state, no doubt. They're gonna sit on anybody. They play hard defense. They play for me. They play for everybody. They're gonna play hard, and they can score on the offensive end, which helps me out when I can dish, double team, anything that happens. They can be there for scoring. And then also we have Miles Soka, who I say is, to me, by far the greatest shooter in the state this year. He's knocked down from anywhere. 2 steps past half court, he's ready to shoot it. He's going to play hard on defense, and he's a lengthy character, so he's always there for steals, deflections. He might catch you with a sneaky dunk every once in a while. And then my big guy, Zerwa Williams, he's going to be a big factor this year as, him being at that, 6'8" height. He's going to score in the paint, and I'm definitely looking forward to seeing him getting about 15 to 20 rebounds a game. And that's going to be big because him rebounding like that, we'll be able to push in transition and put people down early. And then next will be my youngin' Mark, freshman. He's a gamer kind of. He likes to play, great pull up, and he's going to be big down the road as he grows through the season.
Absolutely. Obviously, like you said right there, Mark obviously is one of the most well-known, regarded freshmen that's coming into high school, obviously. And kind of talk about that. Obviously, you guys are really a young team overall, and kind of talk about what it's going to be like going up throughout the next 2 years still of playing together and kind of developing.
Especially with us being one of them younger teams, with Mark being a freshman, I'm going to be able to pass down everything I've learned from my 3 years, which, next year will be 4 years, down to him to where he'll be successful killing Arizona guards. And with me and him in this backcourt for the next 2 years, we'll be able to do a lot of damage as I don't see a backcourt as fast as us and, just as hungry as us as we've always, this year early, we've always been said to not be that hierarchy of teams this year. So me and Mark definitely look hungry in that backcourt.
Absolutely. That's one thing that's always consistent. You can always kind of count on Mountain Point of having is really a top-notch guard. I mean, maybe they're not regarded nationally or media-wise, but in terms of the state, people all know that always the point guard is an elite place for Mountain Point. That's really where the offense kind of starts at and is generated from, and that's always something that's a consistently elite kind of spot for you guys.
Yeah, most definitely, especially with Lid last year. Lid was one of the greater guards in the state in everything. The way he shot the ball, the way he led us as a team, and the way he played defense. And me playing, next to Lid all of last year, he taught me so much that I'm going to be able to take on my reins this year as that lead guard and then pass down to Mark and the other guards that'll be stepping up. So we'll always be dangerous in that position, and we always look hungry as, even though we're like known as top guards in the state, we don't see as like we're the best. We want to be the best though.
No doubt. And I think that one spot that really obviously showed that last year was when you guys came out. I mean, obviously everyone knew the Shadow Mountain Pinnacle game was a huge game. Obviously, everyone talked about them being the two top teams and whatnot. And then about a little bit later, you guys come in and really just destroy them. And I mean, that's just an example that, I mean, that's really just something that shows where you guys can always come out and there's never really, you guys don't ever have the underdog approach. You guys just say, we can really compete with anyone no matter who you guys are.
Yeah, I definitely feel you on that one because, like, we don't feel like we're underdogs. Everybody says we are, but we feel like we're one of those top teams all the time, and we want to carry ourselves like that. That Pinnacle game, like, that was one of the most packed games of the year. We was like, this should be the state championship, in our opinion, early in the season. So we prepared just different that game. Like, everything was crisp, everything. And it led farther down the road for us to have that season, and which puts us in a spot this year that we can build off of that, go having a deeper playoff run than we did last year.
No doubt. And so kind of looking out at it, obviously you guys lost Lid, you guys lost Jaelen, and obviously there was a big transfer in Dre. Kind of talk about who's going to kind of fill those spots and those roles on the team.
Definitely with those guys leaving, Z will definitely take in some of that area that Jalin held, him being that big presence in the paint for finishes, block shots, rebounding. Z's going to run the floor well. He's going to finish. And then in spaces like those wings where we lost, Jalin also playing the wing. And like Jonah, we have Miles this year. He'll be stepping up big time. Kevon Sullivan will be a great use on that wing. A long, lengthy left-hander, tough to guard. And then, of course, me and Mark will be taking that backcourt role, showing that teaching that Lid gave us, and then a little bit of our own kind of like freestyle stuff.
Absolutely. And then looking at all the teams, who would you guys say is like the team you guys really look forward to playing or someone that you really circle on your calendar?
Oh, definitely Desert Vista and Chavez. We look at those are two of our biggest games as like two rivalry games. We have friends and family that go to both those schools. So whenever those two games are coming up on the list, it's like a lock-in. We're ready. We're ready to get deep into practice and focus, game plan, all that, because those are two teams we definitely want to beat.
Without a doubt. Would you say those are the two teams that are going to be the two favorites to win state?
Yeah, I would definitely say that.
I mean, obviously, when you look at it, I mean, we all know that Tai, what he can bring to the table, and obviously having a supporting cast like Ricardo, the twins, and whatnot, and obviously at DV, they have really two, it's not really common in Arizona, AIA at least, having two dominant big men, and obviously they have really good guards as well, but I mean, having those two teams is something that, once again, I mean, playing your guys' game, playing the hard knock, that's kind of pressure, and using your guys' speed will be an easy thing that you guys can possibly go and upset those teams.
Yes, I definitely feel like the way we play with that like speed, the speed we press at, the speed we run at in transition, the speed we bring the ball up, like teams, don't see that. And teams, kind of like, it's like teams don't get hit the same. Like we're constantly moving the balls, we're up the floor quick. You miss, we're rebounding, pushing in transition, and then we score, we're right there up on that baseline ready to press. And it catches most teams off guard as, we move so fast. Like we're definitely the most conditioned team in the state that, deep into the game, teams will be gassed and we're looking at them like we're ready to take the hearts out.
Absolutely. And I was transitioning real quickly into talking about your AAU season. Obviously, you had kind of good season playing with Firestorm. Talk about the team. Obviously, you played with a lot of top guys in the state. What was that team like?
It was fun. We had a great time. It's a family environment. Coach Mike, he's been there my whole AAU career since I moved to Arizona. He's been there my whole life. It's almost like an uncle to me. He's always been there for me. Also with Coach Nico, he's been right there on my back, helping me recruited, stuff to work on. And then playing with the team, like playing with Isaiah Brody and Marcus Waddy, you know, Grady Lewis that goes to Sunny Slope. We were a tough team to beat in state and most definitely out of state. And we carried ourselves like that. We were seeing that we looked at we could be one of the top teams in the nation AAU wise, and we wanted to show it every time we stepped on the court.
Absolutely. And one thing, obviously, trying to transition. I mean, a lot of people obviously also talk about you being a guy that is really likely to break out this year and really get your name not just in terms of Arizona media, but potentially national media. And that thing obviously will result in obviously bringing in a lot of other offers. But gotta talk about Riza right now. Really, what's your recruitment process looking like, or what colleges, if any, have really offered you or really talked to you and possibly have interest in you?
At the moment, I don't have any offers. I have a lot of, like recruitment and interest from like Santa Clara, UC Riverside, UC Irvine. Those schools talk to me the most, and they check on me, keep me in booth. They came to a few of the like open season workouts where the colleges could come through, say what's up. I knew most of the coaches that came. But the recruitment is good, and most definitely throughout the season, I feel like it's going to get a big boost as I'll be able to really step out and show that I'm, a Division I guard and can be recruited at a high level.
No doubt. I think obviously throughout the minds of guys that obviously watch basketball and know it, see that it's not really a case of if you get D1 offers. I mean, everyone knows that will come in. I mean, I think it just depends obviously at how many and what level of offers you can keep bringing in because everyone knows that they will come in. I mean, depends on how you play this year in the next 2 years, honestly. And I think you are obviously poised to have a breakout year.
I definitely feel like the position that I've been put in with Coach KP and this Mountain Pointe system, I'll be able to really display my talents with scoring, defending, and assisting the ball and being that leader for my team. And those guys are all behind my back, saying, go get it. We're behind you. You're going to take the reins. And as long as we're playing at our hardest and I'm able to lead, and do my thing, we're definitely going to be deep this season.
Without a doubt. And then before I let you go, I always like to wrap up with a couple different questions. The first one being, who in your life would you say has been your biggest role model?
Most definitely my dad. My dad is a workout. We work out about every day, every night. He's always on me. He's one of the coaches at the school, one of my bigger trainers, and knowing him, he played Division I basketball. He played overseas before I was born. So any type of knowledge that he could throw at me, I'm gonna get hit in the head with. I'm gonna take it in. Like he's always there with new stuff. Like new moves, ways to talk to coaches, what the recruitment process is gonna be like. Like he's got the deep insight to all that, and it's a blessing almost.
Without a doubt. I mean, obviously, God puts someone in our lives always. I mean, rather it be a friend, a family member, whatever it is, that just keeps us really as tight as possible to the path that He has in store for us and helps us get to the goals that He has in store for us. And obviously, we always know that those paths and God always has the hand on it, and that's obviously always gonna be something amazing.
No doubt. I feel like He's been tough on me my whole life about how I approach the game. I have prayers before the game, all that, which keeps me close with God and how I play. And, He's always there for me, and it keeps me, ready to go. Something new, if I mess up, He's right there. He's going to be on my neck about things. He's going to be tough on me. But in the end, it helps, and it gets me where I should be.
Without a doubt. And then the final question I was wrapping up with is, how would you say God's helped get you to the point you're at today?
I feel like, everything happens for a reason. And, all the major, steps I've taken, you take 2 steps, you might fall down one. And it's like a growing point, like, okay, I see what happened. I'm able to build off this now. And it just helps me take these steps higher and higher as I know that, where He puts me in these tough situations, see how I'll break out, see how I'll overcome. And it makes me stronger as a player, stronger as a person.
Absolutely. I think that's something that's always great to see because, I mean, you look at it and you never really know like what the goal is. Obviously, he's the only one that really knows, and then just following the path. I mean, like you said, it might be a couple of things of being great, and then something happens, and something you never know what it is. But at the time, you might not know what it is, and maybe in a week or month or year, you might not know. But eventually, you probably will find out how that was beneficial, and obviously get you to the final destination point that God is in store for you.
No doubt, no doubt. I feel like, whenever, he sets my path, whenever I get to that special goal, I just gotta work until it opens up and I see it, or it clicks for me, or that moment comes and I'm able to take it, by the heart and just, conquer it and have it as my own. And now that breaks me into a new position, a new goal. There's goals every day that I want to have, that if I break, I know I'm growing, take a step back. He's setting me up for something bigger.
Absolutely, man. And like you said, I mean, it just really is. I mean, patience, just kind of sitting back, obviously doing your best, working your hardest, and just kind of listening and following what God's in store for you, because you know it's something that's going to be big time, like you said, and just being patient and waiting, and kind of enjoying the process He's going to bring you through, because it's obviously going to be something awesome.
For sure, for sure.
Well, I definitely appreciate you taking time to come on today, my guy. Obviously, best luck this upcoming season. I'm excited to see what you guys get done at Mountain Pointe, and obviously, it's going to be a big time recruiting process from here on out.
No doubt, no doubt. Looking at a fun season. Wish it could come faster.
No doubt, man. Obviously, best luck throughout the rest of the preseason, obviously training camp and all that, and good luck.
Thank you, thank you.
No problem, bro. God bless.
You too.